Welcome to Alaska Matters with Chris Story. To reach Chris, call 226-3933. 226-3933. Now, giving you something to talk about, here's Chris Story.
Welcome to Alaska Matters. I'm Christopher Story, your host for Great Adventures in the Last Frontier, and today will prove to be one of the best adventures you've had in a long time. I've got Joanne and Monty here in the studio, so I apologize in advance for those of you that are, aware, awake, tuned in. We're going to have a blast. I'll guarantee you've never met more entertaining people unless you've met me. They're great. They're awesome. We're going to be playing some of their music. We're also going to be giving away a Blackwater Bend Espresso card, coffee card, as well as a special blend. We've got a couple of pounds of coffee to give away or a coffee card. So that's going to be up to you. It's a Great Alaska Trivia Contest and the Minds Bender from Blackwater Bend. Joanne and Monty have been performing in Alaska since, I want to say since I was 4 years old. Nothing like making a guest feel old. In 1976. Been around for a long, long time, and their music is relevant. Their music is exciting. I'm a huge fan. It's on my iPod. I've got a CD in my truck, and I have a CD at home stuck in the player. So wherever I go, I bring Joanne and Monty with me, and I bring them with me today to this program. So don't go anywhere. We have an incredible lineup here on Alaska Matters.
Hi, folks. Jackie Ray here for the Caribou Family Restaurant. Here comes the Caribou. Here comes the Caribou Family Restaurant, where friends and family meet. Sign up for our drawing for Dinner for Two for Valentine's Day. That's right, Dinner for Two, Valentine's Day. Drawings at 1 p.m. every Wednesday and Sunday until Valentine's Day. No purchase necessary. Downtown Homer at Pioneer and Lake Street or Soldotna at Sterling Highway and K Beach Road. Be happy this Valentine's Day at Caribou Family Restaurant.
Oh, no. I'm out of water. No problem. Call More and More, your locally owned water supplier. 24-hour service from your locally owned water company. Tired of working with an outside corporation? Want to support local business and get better service for less? Then put More and More to work for you. 235-8837. More and More is next door. 235-8837.
Alaska Matters is brought to you in part by Blackwater Bend, keeping Alaska awake and perky for over 10 years. On the Sterling Highway, halfway between Homer and Anchor Point, your year-round headquarters for expertly crafted coffee and tasty treats. Make Blackwater Bend your coffee shop. Hey, what's your name?
My name is Bobby Triplett. I am a barista here at the Blackwater Bend. My favorite drink for the season is a raspberry spice chai. We are open from 5 a.m. in the morning, crack of dawn, till 7 p.m. at night.
Where we live, we got clear blue skies. Where we live, we got tall oak trees. Where we live.
Where We Live is in Homer, Alaska. If you're listening to this online later on today on our podcast, I thank you. The website is adventurealaskaradio.com, adventurealaskaradio.com. Also post a link to Facebook and other places. So if you'd like to listen back to my intriguing conversation with Joanne and Monty, you're welcome to do so online anytime, 24/7, adventurealaskaradio.com. So before we introduce my illustrious guests, again, I'm Christopher Story, your host for Great Adventures in the Last Frontier. Let me talk a little bit about Blackwater Bend, who makes this show possible. You ever wonder why Blackwater Bend is so good? The coffee is distinct and spot on every time. Well, did you know Blackwater Bend has its own coffee blend? I did not know that. Oh, yeah, today you can take home a bag of this coffee of your very own. 1 pound awaits you at Blackwater Bend Espresso if you know the answer to the Blackwater Bend Mind Bender. Here's your question. What is the Alaska state fish? Try it again. I need more coffee. Let me... Okay. What is this Alaska state fish? Is it a halibut, a sockeye salmon, or a king salmon? Put your hand down, Monty. Call right now, 226-3933, 226-3933. Tiffany is standing by here at Story Real Estate at 226-3933. Make the phone lines light up, give her something to do, and take yourself to Blackwater Bend for either free coffee card or a pound of coffee. Welcome, please, Joanne and Monty. Monty, you ever get tired of hearing that? Joanne before Monty?
No, not at all. I do not.
How did that happen?
Years.
How did it happen that it became Joanne and Monty? Because I've got to tell you, I can't think of it any other way.
Flip of the coin.
Literally, it was a flip of the coin.
Yes,
Exactly
it
how
was.
we did it.
Yeah.
We didn't come up with a name for the group, the two of us.
Right.
So we said, okay, well, we'll use our names.
Well, with your multiple personalities, it really is a group, isn't it?
Yes,
right.
it is. And we all get along so well.
It was an orchestra.
The entire village.
If I remember correctly, though, Joanne, we said that we were going to go as Joanne and Monty until we did actually come up with a really good name.
We still haven't, huh?
Right.
36 years later, here we are.
I like it. It works. I got to tell you, I met you for the first time, Monty, and Joanne, actually, but I met you first, Monty, it's been a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and I just knew you as Berkeley's brother. And I knew that you were also married to Joanne, but I didn't put it together until Joanne and Monty, that's who they are, because I've heard of you. Well, I just can't remember a time where I didn't know that you were a singing group, sensation, if I might say, in Alaska. You defined Alaskan music, really, in a lot of respects.
We did, actually. I'm rather proud of that for the most part.
Yeah, it pays
For
to
the most
copy
part.
other people.
Yeah.
Which part aren't you proud of?
Well, actually, when we started, and we've talked about this before, when we started, there were a lot of really good artists in Alaska, but they had never, ever gotten radio airplay. And Joanne was so brilliant because...
As usual.
when we
Humble
did our
through.
first album, we actually took it into a couple of the radio stations up in Anchorage. And they said...
We're talking vinyl.
Yeah. They said, well, we don't play local music. And we said, we know that. Really, all we want you to do is we would love to have your opinion. And then, so
that was your idea. Joe.
yeah. So we,
Nice.
applied to their egos. And once they listened to the music, they went, hey, we could play this. And we went, oh, gee, that would be nice.
This is
And-
nationally competitive.
Yeah. And
Nice.
and they started giving us airplay.
Do you remember which album that was?
One Step Forward.
Okay.
The very
that was,
first
that was
one.
your first.
It was the very
Yep.
first album. Yeah.
Oh, so
Position Song really was the first one, and Play It to the Hilt were two songs that they actually played quite a bit on the.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm just kidding. That's awesome.
we call that Alaska reggae.
Yeah, it's definitely got it. Did you write it and play it with that in mind?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You did. So it was influenced from reggae.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess
Definitely.
the idea of going fishing, for some reason, reggae just came out.
Yeah, yeah. Because it really, I could be listening to that on the Gulf of Florida easily,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
or apply it to Kachemak Bay.
That's right. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, Monty, you and Joanne came together in '76.
76.
You, though, grew up in a music family. I mean, you've been performing on stage since you were, what, a fetus?
16 years old, actually. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
My dad was a musician, and we started a family band. See, I was 15, actually, when the band started, but when I was 16, we actually started working in nightclubs 5-6 nights a week. My younger sister, Kathy, at age 15, singing in nightclubs 5-6 nights a week. Yeah.
No
We
kidding.
came to Fairbanks in 1970. So I was 18 years old. It was a year before I could drink. I remember that. Then the drinking age in Alaska was 19.
Oh, I didn't know
in those
that.
days, yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And so
There was reasons that got changed.
Yeah.
Right.
The Davis family.
The Davis family helped
Sure.
change legislation in Alaska.
Yeah. So yeah, we came to Fairbanks in that winter of 1970 and turned 19 later that summer, and it's been downhill ever since. Yeah.
Well, that's neat, and I did listen to it. It's online. You can find it on YouTube. Julie, your sister-in-law, Julie Davis, turned me on to it. It's The Whipping Post.
Yeah.
I'd heard the song before, but I got to tell you, I think you were probably 15, 16 years old, something like that, when you know the cut I'm talking about?
Yes, I
It went
do.
on for like 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Julie,
a very long time.
Oh, but incredible. You guys are this young cherubic-looking little family. Look almost like maybe I was looking for like the Sound of Music, you know what I mean? Julie
yeah.
Andrews was going to come in any minute on the picture, but man, the sound was full volume. It was incredible rock and roll.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Enough about you, Joanne.
And he was on drums.
Yeah, that's okay. I was going to get to that because that's your musical passion is drums.
Drums is what I can play without thinking, and which is really good.
Well, you're doing this interview without thinking, so I think you can do two things.
Well, when I met JoJo and we decided that we were going to be a duo, I knew that drums and acoustic guitar, tough mix, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I had actually been working up on the pipeline, came home on a Saturday. We went down on Monday and bought a guitar and went to work Tuesday night.
Really?
Yeah, I had never played guitar. Literally had on-the-job training. I don't
Now,
think
you
we put
played
a-
around a little bit with it with your band.
I did not.
You knew a couple chords.
I knew how to make a D chord and a G chord, yes, but I had never played through an entire song when I purchased that guitar. And we went to work Tuesday night, and so guitar has never been completely natural for me. And the other thing is, every time that I ever actually sat down to practice it, we ended up writing songs. So instead of becoming a good guitar player,
Proficient.
yeah, we were songwriters. And the lovely part about that is, and it's still true to this day, you can hire really good guitar players anywhere and
There's a lot of
anytime.
studio musicians,
There are.
but the creativity that goes into the writing was obviously your forte.
Yes.
So Monty, you started when you were just, like you said, a fetus on stage. How about you, Joanne?
Well, I come from a very musical family, too. We didn't do it professionally, but my mom was an amazing piano player and great singer. My dad was a great singer. And all my sisters and I sang together. We did a couple little did an amateur TV show and raised in the Washington, D.C. area, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We were like the Lennon sisters, or, younger generation.
The John Lennon or the dictator Lennon?
The Lawrence Welk.
Lawrence Welk.
Long
Lennon
before
sister.
your time, young man.
I've seen a few reruns.
Yeah. And we sang together for years, just fun stuff. And then I just got a bug once I finished my undergraduate degree. I said, well, go to work in my profession, which was health science, or, follow my passion of music. And I decided I was going to do music. So I started music, and then I was singing with a rock and roll band. Ended up coming to Alaska in 1975 for a 2-month contract in Fairbanks. Loved it. Moved back the end of December that year, 75. Met Monty the following July. And then that's all she wrote.
It reads like a fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
You've got another bug, a different kind of bug, the Alaska bug.
Yeah.
But, I mean, y'all have left, but primarily your career has been centered around the last frontier.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, unquestionably.
Yeah, we went east for a while because we heard there was a great market for contemporary acoustic folk music. And yes.
Is that what you'd say you are as folk singers? Are you folk singers?
No.
Country?
No.
The truth is, I think we fit in the singer-songwriter category, but unfortunately, we were about 25 years ahead of our time. In that our music is very diverse. We just write. We don't try to fit it here or fit it there. It was one of our problems when we went to Los Angeles in 1984. A&M Records was very interested, wanted to talk to us, but they said, the problem is, you guys, you don't fit. In those days,
Pigeonhole.
in a record store, they literally would have the section for rock and roll, a section for country, a section for pop, a section for folk. And if you didn't fit in one of those, they didn't know where to put you.
You didn't exist.
And we fit in all of them. And
Right.
especially being from Alaska. Everybody here is from somewhere else. They all love different kinds of music. It's one of the reasons why it works so well for us here.
Yeah.
In our audience on any given night.
Well, and the radio stations, too, at that point, were specialty, And
That's true.
you had to fit a genre. So
Right.
we would have a couple songs that fit that genre, but the rest of the album wouldn't.
I do always sort of grin on KPEN, our sister station, where we'll be broadcasting Radio Realty tomorrow. When I hear John Bon Jovi, or vice versa, I hear Carrie Underwood on the I'll tell you who those guys are later, Joanna Montague.
Yeah.
But you hear that there's such a what would you say? It's a crossing over or
Diverse.
Yes,
Yeah.
just a variety. And I love that, actually, that music has gone that way, that...
who's the most creative as far as and I shouldn't ask it that way. Let me ask it this way: who is the lyricist and who's the balladeer? I mean, is it a combination?
No.
Combination.
Yeah.
We neither one of us have a set way of writing. One of us will start a song sometimes, and then we both jump in. And then, neither one of us writes just the music. Neither one of us writes just the lyrics. We just team up.
Neat. I like because it works. I mean, it doesn't matter. at the end of the day, it really works for me. And we're going to be listening to a couple of more Joanne and Monty hits, my favorite hits, and maybe we'll go to the website and ask them if we can play a song from their website that's their favorite if I don't touch on it. So you're listening to Alaska Matters, and coming up, Mama's Love, what inspired that tune, and also we'll ask the Blackwater Band question one more time and give you an opportunity to win some free coffee right here on Alaska Matters.
Panoramic Heights, spectacular ocean and mountain views, including volcanoes and incredible sunsets. Live outside of town, but less than 10 minutes from Homer. Affordable land for your dream home. These lots are priced to sell. Owners will finance, and so will First National Bank Alaska. Call Deborah at Bay Realty at 235-6183 for more information today. 235-6183, and enjoy the privacy and quiet life this wonderful subdivision offers. Or how about 52 acres next door? Celebrate nature. Set amid the rolling hills, peace and privacy can be yours on this 52-acre estate. Live well on this beautiful parcel. Moose, bear, and other wildlife are here to greet you. Come home to a secluded estate, away from the world, but within driving distance to everything. Urban farmers and ranchers will find this a true delight. Call Deborah Lysick at Bay Realty at 235-6183. When you need results, Bay Realty works.
Snowbound? Call 399-1526 for Gregoire Construction. When you need snow removal, snow plowing, and sanding this winter, call Richard, 399-1526. If the recent heavy snowfall has literally got you down, call 399-1526 today for snow removal. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Gregoire Construction, 399-1526.
For Radio Realty, I'm Chris Story. Hey, are you wondering how the real estate market is? And are homes selling? What about land? Are mortgage rates on the rise? Well, get your Monday market update every week at soldonhomer.com. I'll bring you the latest news and information you need to know about your market at soldonhomer.com. Tune in to Prosperity on Radio Realty every Wednesday at 12:30 on KPEN 102 FM. Podcast from RadioRealty.us.
Now that it's colder and darkness has taken over, it's easy to let it get you down. But you know, one thing that really perks me up, how more and more people are lighting up their houses for the holidays, thanks to Christmas Decor by Dutch Boy Landscaping. Dutch Boy makes turning your home or business into a cheery piece of the winter puzzle, minus the hassle of having to find a good spot to base a ladder on ice, battle the elements, or scale that roof. It makes a lot of sense to rely on expert decorators trained in safety and proper installation methods. Christmas Decor offers customized lighting displays, garlands, wreaths, and bows. They can design the display, install it, maintain it. They even take down and clean up when the season's over. So if you've been dreading hauling out boxes and boxes of holiday decorations and the threat to life and limb it entails, maybe it's your year to leave it to Christmas Decor by Dutch Boy Landscaping. Find out more about brightening up your place with professional holiday decorating. Contact Danny at 235-7140. 235-7140. Christmas Decor by Dutch Boy. Call now.
If I don't do anything else today, I'm gonna take a walk up by the creek, have him sing his song to me. I will find a shaded sunny spot, I'll pull out my guitar, and sing a simple song for you and me. Something like
You're listening to Joanne and Monty performing a simple song, Not So Simply Done, here on Alaska Matters. I'm Christopher Story, your host for Great Adventures in the Last Frontier. We're looking for one more winner for our Blackwater Bend Mind Bender. We want to send you out there to Blackwater Bend for free. Mary's a winner so far. Are you? Here's the question. What is the Alaska state fish? Is it a halibut, a sockeye salmon, or a king salmon? 226-3933, 226-3933. I know it's not pronounced salmon, but I'm just having a little bit of fun with it because I've got some really fun people here, Joanne and Monty. So I said we were going to come back and play Mama's Love.
Yes.
Don't say anything about it. Let's play it first, and then I'm going to ask you where the inspiration came from.
Okay.
And then, as Joanne has requested, we will play a song featuring her as lead vocal.
So I won't feel so left out.
Yeah. Joanne of Joanne and Monty says, here we go. Here's Mama's Love by Joanne and Monty. Any minute. Here we go.
We never felt like time worked on. She kept us busy laughing, being kids and going on. Oh, we knew we didn't have the things that only money seemed to bring. But Mama saw we always had enough. We were the richest poor kids, thanks to Mama's love.
That's a beautiful tune by Joanne and Monty. Monty, I believe that, are we singing about your mom?
Yes, we are.
Mama Jo.
Yeah, Mama Jo, exactly. And, that's really pretty much a true story. The entire song is, as I said earlier, my dad was a musician, and he wasn't around for quite a few years when I was growing up. Did come back, and we ended up being really, really good friends, but when I was growing up, he wasn't there. He basically had abandoned us, and I was talking with somebody.
Not because he was a musician.
Because he was a flaky musician.
A traveling musician.
He was a flaky guy.
He was on the road.
Yeah. But I was talking with somebody the other day, and I said, there's a very few of us that actually remember green cheese. And I don't mean that the cheese itself was green, but literally that we got it from the Army. So, the wax, like when you get Tillamook, how that orange is kind of this was green, Army green. Yeah, big chunks of that. So there was a lot of food that we got actually back in those days that was military surplus or whatever, and, that they gave to poor families. So, I say, most of that song is, actually, all of that song is kind of a biographical, I guess.
Did it change growing up that way? Did it change the way you approach music or the sensibility with which you bring to the creative process of being an artist?
I don't know. I honestly don't know, Chris, if it...
Monty tells a really interesting story. He didn't even really know he was poor until one time he went and stayed with a friend and heard the dad talking to somebody else and saying, I feel sorry for this kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he didn't even think of himself as poor.
I never,
You're like Steve Martin on The Jerk.
Exactly. We were so happy and
no, he knew he was a jerk.
But we were so happy and so loved.
Yeah.
And I knew that we were on welfare. I knew that those things, but I never thought that people actually felt bad for us. And I did hear this guy out on the porch. We went on a vacation with him, and I heard him out talking with the other fathers, and he said, the other kid, his dad's gone, and, they're on welfare, and he's kind of, and I went, oh, God, he's talking about me. It was a real shocker for me, but, never took the time to feel sorry for me.
Well, switching gears back to Alaska, this is The Last Frontier. We explore adventures in The Last Frontier on this program. Is there anything different about being a breakout artist or trying to pioneering music in Alaska in the 70s or even now that is different other than the isolation from let's say if you're in Orange County or Tennessee or somewhere? I mean, what is it about Alaska that's different?
Doing music, no big deal. The music was happening, especially when we got together during the pipeline boom. There's music all over. The challenging part came as we became more and more songwriters, and we were writing more and more and more because we went from cover. I had been writing even before I met Monty in '76, and then he started writing. We started writing together. So then it was a matter of how do you work that into who you are. So little by little, we just started adding our original songs, and then little by little, we started getting more and more requests for them. So then it became, as we moved on in our career, that we were doing more and more original music, and then that was limiting where we could play. You know, where there were places, and we made it happen, and we were always creating venues. Where there wasn't a venue, we went and found one, and we really had fun doing that.
That's called persistence. I mean, you just you persist.
Yeah. Because most of the time
that hasn't changed any.
No, most of the time our options were to walk into a place that normally would have a rock and roll band or normally would have this, and that's not a listening crowd. So as Joe said, what we did was we would walk into places and say, look, this is what we do. We realize that you've never had music. That's good. And here's why, because we can start from scratch. We can literally bring a listening crowd in,
Wow.
But
what
then
would the
that
internet
died
have done?
down.
What would the internet have? I mean, it seems like an obvious question, but what would the advent of the internet have done to your career in '76 if it was available?
I think we would have made a lot more money, in all honesty.
Really?
I really do, yeah. I think we would have made a lot more money.
And we would have reached out of Alaska, too.
You still, I mean, I guess this is the real crux of the question is it can be seen as a great equalizer, but really, you've got to have raw talent. I mean, you can't just, we see it all the time on the internet that there's just out there, but if you've got the talent, it's out there. And we should tell your website now, it's www.joanneandmonty.com. Great music available. In fact, let's play another tune from it. This one, I believe, will feature the vocal stylings up front.
Oh, we have something of mine.
Of Joanne.
I love this.
Let's try this out. That's beautiful. Who's playing the saxophone on that tune?
That was a gentleman from Anchorage in the military. What was his name? I don't even know if he's still in Anchorage. I'd have to look at the credits.
Air Force Band of the Pacific.
Yeah,
oh,
I'd
really?
have to look at the credits.
Really? Nice. So you literally grabbed people from around Alaska, from around Anchorage, who might even been transitory.
Yes.
And bring them into the studio and say, hey, lay down this track. Wow.
Totally. We love doing that, as a matter of fact.
Some people would rather die than be on stage. Some people would rather die than perform or go up and be in front of a crowd.
Yeah, they say you only die once.
Right, exactly. Have you ever felt stage fright? I mean, either one of you? Is it something that occurs to you even now?
Yeah, I haven't. Monty had bouts with it.
Well, confess his sins. Why don't you? Yeah. Monty?
Early on, literally, my first 10 years of performing, anytime that we had an opening night somewhere, I would, 5 minutes before we went on stage, go in the bathroom, throw up.
Really?
Yep. And
for 10 years?
For 10 years.
Wow.
And then finally I went, maybe if I just didn't eat.
Right. There you go. But you just dry heave on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, Monty's doing a new act.
And once you get in, anytime, once you get into that first song, halfway through it, everything was just fine and dandy. So.
I mean, you get a little nervous,
We need to talk about our concert before we run out of...
Yeah, let's do that, because a good point, though, Joanne. I think nervous energy directed is different than fear. So, and I think that's a good piece of advice for anybody listening to move into a new direction in their life or become an artist or even to take... whether you're a painter, a writer, a poet, a songwriter, a singer, whatever, to put yourself out there. There's going to be some fear involved, but if you're persistent like Joanne and Monty, you're going to get ahead. Now, my question is, any concerts coming up? Monty, go. When is your next concert?
March 10th at Wasabi here in Homer. We're doing a concert.
Club Fusion downstairs.
Yeah, isn't it? It's nice.
It is. It's very cool.
Yeah, I was surprised. And
what can we expect? I mean, is it... We're going to laugh, we're going to cry, we're going to rock. What are we going to do?
All of those things. We have our friend Stu Shulman, who is a great guitar player from Anchorage, is coming down to play with us. We're probably going to have Sally O do a few songs.
We haven't asked her yet, but
she knows now.
Sally, if you're
Berkeley's
listening,
going to do a couple songs.
Yeah, it's Joanna, Monty, and friends. I've always just said first we have to find some friends. But it's actually a fundraiser for the Chamber Visitor Center.
Excellent. So March 10th in the basement of Wasabi's. How do we have to get a ticket in advance or just show up? What's the deal? March 10th.
Both.
Okay. Tickets are available where?
At this point, nowhere. But the Homer Chamber of Commerce, probably the bookstore. Wherever, anybody they'll
come back. Would you come back and let me know?
Absolutely.
Let's keep people informed. This is going to be a lot of fun. Joanne and Monty live in concert. You'll laugh, you'll cry.
We have started rehearsing.
Yeah, tasteless humor.
Tasteless humor. Are you going to play the Outhouse song?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, yeah.
I listened to that, and if we had time, which we're unfortunately running out of, I would have played that song. But it's an honor to have you here in the studios of Alaska Matters. Joanne joeandmonty.com, and go there, listen to some tunes, and buy some CDs. It's a great place to connect with these two fabulous artists. March 10th will be another great place at Wasabi's at Club Fusion downstairs. We'll keep you apprised of the tickets, availability, price, and so forth. But remember, it's a fundraiser for your Chamber of Commerce. Joanne, Monty, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. It's been fun.
Yeah, you guys are great.
Thanks for playing one of my songs.
Oh, yeah, let's
Feel
rock
so
out with
better.
one more where you play guitar. All right, everybody, we'll see you online at AdventureAlaskaRadio.com.
Peninsula's home for unforgettable favorites. Great listening, 620 AM, KGTX.